and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on this session titled Brexit Should Be the Catalyst to Create Stronger Ties Between European Startup Ecosystems. And it's my privilege to be moderating this panel. My name is Omar Christidis. I'm the founder and CEO of ArabNet. We are a platform for tech business and innovation in the Middle East we do conferences, research, media, and innovation programs for corporates and government. And I'd like to introduce our two speakers for this session. I'm going to quickly say their name and title and then turn it over to them to give us a brief 30 to 60 seconds on what they do and their initiatives and background. So we have with us Tim Luft, the Director of Talkout and mentor for the UK Government Global Entrepreneur Program. And we have David Webster, founding partner, Global Tech Connect, and co-founder and principal at R10 Ventures. Gentlemen, welcome. And Tim, we'll start with you. Please, in a very brief minute, tell us about what you do and the role that you play in this in the Government Global Entrepreneur Program.
No, thank you very much, Omar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me. It's apologies. Well, it's a sorry we can't physically be there. I know I've really enjoyed coming to the World Summit over the years, and I look forward to coming back in person, hopefully next year. As Omar mentioned, I've got sort of a couple of hats on. My business background has been technology, has done for many years. Set up a virtuality simulation studio in the UK, and we develop corporate training products, predominantly for blue chip corporates, which use AR and VR technology. Tech has been a passion of mine for many, many years, and it's been great to sort of build up a business in that space. But really, one of my key areas of interest and my interest in talking to you all today is I'm a mentor for the UK government's Global Entrepreneur Program, which is all about helping tech entrepreneurs like yourselves come and scale up in the UK. Come to the UK and help you develop your business here, help take away those barriers to entry, give you that soft landing zone, and hopefully help you on that journey. So really look forward to welcoming companies who are looking to expand and look at the UK as a base to scale their business from.
Thank you, Tim. David, a brief introduction of yourself.
Thanks, Omar, and thanks, Tim. So I'm David Webster. I'm the founding partner of Global Tech Connect, and that is the alliance of UK-based international startup programs. We currently have 10 members from around Europe and its periphery, and membership, I should say, is open to other countries. My own organization, R10 Ventures, is facilitating access to UK market knowledge and venture capital for Romania's best pre-seed to Series A candidates. But GTC itself, and I suppose that's really the main hat that I'm wearing today, is supporting startups from our 10 national ecosystems enter, learn from, or scale in the UK. That means we're promoting the UK as the partner of choice for international startups, encouraging bilateral collaborations, and sharing knowledge and networks to strengthen our respective tech ecosystems. So there's very much a parallel to some of the work that Tim is doing with the Global Entrepreneurs Program. And I think there are ways in which we are exploring collaboration and cooperation with the GEP.
Wonderful. And, we'll dive right in. You're both working with companies to help them take advantage of London as a hub of their activities. With Brexit, and since this is a key topic of discussion, what are some of the challenges and opportunities that Brexit has created for these tech companies who are operating in the UK or regionally but want to enter the UK? What are some of the operational and regulatory implications of Brexit on these companies that are operating across borders? We can start again with Tim, and then we'll move back to you, David. But let's talk about those challenges and opportunities.
No problem. If I start with some of the challenges, I think there's some obvious challenges straight away. And I was working with a tech company recently that had a lot of hardware, simply shipping hardware. They shipped the hardware in December. Brexit happened in January. Some of the hardware needed replacing, and it's been an absolute nightmare trying to get the hardware back into the UK to be fixed and sent out again without paying an awful lot of taxes and understanding that process. It's getting better. And so I think what I'd say is bear with us on that one. The regulations are becoming clearer, people and the careers are getting better. There's some obvious issues there. Visas, obviously now, the Global Entrepreneur Program are what's called a visa endorsing body. We can actually help endorse innovator visas, startup visas for entrepreneurs. But of course now, because Brexit's happened, there is a process to if you haven't been based in the UK already, we have to take you through a visa process. These are, yes, that's a little bit more bureaucratic, and they are challenges, but the challenges are getting better. And I have to say, the UK government departments that I work with have really stepped up in terms of speed of doing things than before Brexit. I had a client wanted a company set up. The company was set up in a day. I mean, literally a week later, they had their SEIS accreditation. The speed that HMRC are working at, the UK government's tax department, that is very, very fast. So I think that's recognizing that, but then outweigh that against the opportunities. You're coming into a country now that has had a phenomenal amount of money put into our collaborative R&D. We're talking billions of pounds a week is going into collaborative opportunities, projects to get companies involved in from day one. And where we're seeing that real interest in tech is companies coming over. My patch is the Midlands, where there's very specific niche areas, and we're getting companies into these contracts. HS2, £1.2 billion rail investment, 50% of which is going to SMEs, all looking for technology companies to help in certain areas. We've got an autonomous supply chain of autonomous vehicles, massive supply chain here, 1.4 billion of current work opportunities for companies. So number one is you come to the UK, you get in that niche in tech, you get into the marketplace, you can expand very quickly. Yeah, and we can make things happen, and we appear to be making things happen. Touch wood. I don't know it's because we're all home working and it's a lot more efficient, but things appear to be happening a lot quicker in the UK. Decisions are being made a lot quicker, and things are happening far quicker than they've ever done before. So I think the opportunity for any tech company, one is market, two is access to finance, three is access to skill base, and a cluster and hubs that can actually accelerate your business going forward. So real opportunities now, but let me hand over to David. I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
Sure, thanks, Tim. I think to touch on that point of opportunity, one of the possible outcomes from Brexit, and of course it does wait to see how we capitalize on that, is of course the opportunities for regulatory divergence and what market opportunities that might create. I think the life sciences is one of those.
Or challenges, no? Because I mean, I think the idea of regulatory fragmentation for things like fintech or health tech, it becomes increasingly difficult to operate a business across so many borders and regulatory regimes.
I think that certainly can be the case, but if you take the comparison with the United States, for example, where there are within each of the individual states often very different regulatory requirements as well, depending upon the nature of the product. So in that way, it is kind of learning the skill that you might need when you then later expand into the US. But something like life sciences is going to be a great opportunity where the UK already has a terrific depth of talent and knowledge there. I think one of the things you also saw last week, recently we had the UK budget, which of course we'll probably get back to, which touched on some of the additional support that the UK government can offer to startups. But last week also saw the publication of the Integrated Review. And that's actually a defense, foreign policy and security strategy, but it puts science and technology right at its heart. The UK is seeing this as an opportunity for its own strategic progress. And by creating the opportunities here in the UK, by drawing more companies in, this is the way we grow our GDP. This is the way we can help companies flourish. So opportunities are there for sure. But as Tim says, with Brexit, I think we're working through a number of the frictions that was caused. Some of those will be temporary, but we are outside the single market. And realistically, that does mean frictions are going to be there for the long term as well.
Great. And I think that the case is really clear and compelling with the amount of money, talent, and opportunity that is available today in the UK. I want to stay with you, David, especially because you work with a lot of Romanian companies to help them come into the UK. I'm curious to understand, how has Brexit affected the appetite of companies from around Europe and really from around the world seeking London as a headquarter for their European or global expansion? And in light of Brexit, is there any additional support that might be needed to help these companies land in the UK? Are there additional incentives that are needed given that Brexit?
Mm-hmm. So I think that the UK as a market, its size, its sophistication is always going to be attractive. Brexit has caused a degree of uncertainty, and that does mean people are putting their plans on hold. But likewise, the same can be said for coronavirus and the impact that's had on us all for the last year. So it can be quite actually difficult to disentangle what is giving people hesitation to come to the UK right now. But I've worked particularly with some Romanian fintech companies, and fintech is one of the areas where the UK, as well as Romania, has terrific potential. They remain very keen to come across. I think there are some challenges that they foresee in terms of how they would set up a company now in the UK, whereas prior to Brexit, they could just come into the country, rock up and set up the company now. Now they're looking at things like the innovator visa route and whether that is going to be the opportunity for them. It does add an additional degree of complexity. That might also mean that they come at a later stage of development, and that can mean they're not going to get access to CEAS and EIS, some of those tax incentive schemes that are there for earlier stage startups. So again, that's something that I think founders are going to have to consider. For sure, Brexit will have been a bit of a dent, and partly that is because in the way the UK government has handled Brexit. I think we could have done things in a more constructive and positive way, but the UK will always be a country that is terrifically attractive to companies. And I know that with Romanian companies that I'm working with, I know that the companies that the other Global Tech Connect partners are working with, they remain very keen to come across. And we are continuing to run and operate our program to tempt those companies across, and to give them the UK market knowledge and knowledge of business culture especially, that is going to help them thrive here.
Thanks, David. And Tim, would love to hear your thoughts on this. Beyond the issue of, now they have to really have a strategy for entering as opposed to kind of that seamless experience that they had before, maybe preventing some of the earlier stage companies from coming or slowing down, maybe they come a little bit later. What are your thoughts on the appetite that you're seeing and what needs to be done to encourage those companies further?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we haven't experienced a reduction in interest from the UK. If anything, in certain sectors, there's actually been an increase in interest from companies coming to the UK. And there's a number of reasons for this. I mean, some companies have seen how the government responded during the pandemic. And actually probably one of the people in the UK government that came out really well on this was the Chancellor, who put a lot of support into small businesses and the schemes of financial grants. And I think a lot of overseas clients saw that and thought, actually, this might be a location we'd like to have a business as well, because there's been awful lot of help and support. Then I think people have seen the level of finance availability in the UK is still greater than anywhere else in Europe. I think 20%. I think I read that London does more financial deals than the whole of Europe combined. So when it comes to raising investment, people recognise that the ecosystem for the UK for investing in and scaling up companies is still very, very strong. Whether that's VC, angel funding, and actually we're seeing a massive increase in grant funding through Innovate UK. The UK government are putting millions of pounds into collaborative R&D. So I think companies are seeing the ecosystem, they're seeing the opportunity, they're seeing the market, but I think, and they're seeing the skill set. So actually, if you've got that clear vision and you know what product, and obviously you've got to be reassured that the market has got to be right for you. You've got to pick the right location. You've got to make sure your business is getting into the right ecosystem. But the opportunity when you get here is still very, very good. If anything, and I say this with no authority whatsoever, but I would say that actually the UK government are putting more programs in place than ever before, very much because of Brexit, because they recognise that they want to attract the most innovative entrepreneurial individuals to the UK. So the support and ecosystems available. And I think, there was going to be a lady join us from Wira. The prime example, here's a 5G, just in the Midlands alone has gone into 5G projects. Tech companies who want to exploit 5G, and a dedicated accelerator now has been established in Birmingham to support those companies. That's happened during lockdown. That's happened during the last 12 months. So it's great to see that there are these little ecosystems of support for companies who want to come here.
Great, and Tim, I wanna move to my last question, building on what you said around these kinds of initiatives to get these ecosystems closer, and the government really stepping up to build more of those initiatives. Can you tell us, I'm sure there are entrepreneurs in the audience from around Europe who are keen to do this. What kind of initiatives do exist to kind of build those bridges between UK and the rest of Europe, or what additional initiatives are in the pipeline or are needed really to encourage some of those. And David, we'll ask you the same from the perspective of your entrepreneurs, what they've told you would be more of an encouraging initiative to help them come to the market. But starting off with you, Tim, what are some of the existing initiatives and things that are needed to make those ecosystems closer?
I think that there was a real, before COVID, which has been a real sort of a hit to bring people together and travel between the EU and the UK, but we were creating a number of what are called tech hubs, locations where you've got UK companies who could go to a location overseas in European companies would come to the UK, and vice versa. And I think this shared collaboration, and I'm involved in a business that's set up an office in Poland. We've got staff there at the moment. So it's great, and seeing that collaboration between the two countries has actually been really good. So I think in terms of initiatives where we can twin and link those programs together, where we've got specific hubs in cybersecurity, in deep tech, in agri-tech, and where we can find existing hubs overseas in countries such as Romania, Poland, etc., where we can actually bring these together and actually collaborate, a formal collaboration where we can facilitate trade missions between each country. We can look at collaborative R&D between each country. That sort of collaboration. I mean, before we came on air, we were talking about Lebanon. Omar, I know you're in Lebanon at the moment. There's a prime example. There's a tech hub that was specifically there to support collaboration between the UK and in Beirut and Lebanon. And those type of programs, I think, are invaluable going forward to encourage that collaboration. Because as a company, we want to work with Europe. We don't want to be. We recognise there's a very big market in the UK. But my own business also recognises the opportunity in Europe. So it's great to have that link in both.
Great. And I think that UK Lebanon Tech Hub has been a great channel for some of these scale-ups, especially to be able to leverage some of the global exposure and opportunities that are happening in the UK. David, final words to you on what is needed to continue to deepen those bridges between ecosystems between the UK and the rest of Europe or the world.
Well, I think to touch on that tech hub point, I think that is absolutely fundamental. And I'm pleased to say that both the UK Israel Tech Hub and the UK Lebanon Tech Hub, now Nucleus Ventures, are part of Global Tech Connect. We very much see that these kinds of partnerships are the way of building and deepening those ties. But I think what's also useful to understand about the examples of Israel and Lebanon is that they're seen much more in terms of strategic partnership. So it goes beyond purely the DIT. The DIT does some tremendous work, but it is much more also about a deepening of the political relationship and trying to foment that stronger connection between the UK and these other countries. In my case, Romania, Romania is a high priority strategic partner for the UK, and I would love to see more of a UK-Romania tech hub, UK-Romania technology partnership developing. I think the same could be said perhaps for Poland, some other countries in Central and Eastern Europe. But within Global Tech Connect, we have members that are purely private organizations, we have members that are hybrid government and private, and we have members that are much more leaning on the government side of things. We're open to partnerships with all of them, and I think having these diversity of models is a great way to strengthen it. And I think we all agree that strengthening of the links between the UK and other countries is very much a high priority and something we each would want to see done.
Great, and I think seeing these kinds of bilateral, really strong and tailored programs, leveraging the strengths of these individual markets and the areas of synergy across them, whether sector, whether type of company, technologies, I think there could be a lot of potential for that. I see that we're sorry, go ahead, David, if you had something.
I was just quickly going to plug the Global Tech Connect. We're about to launch a clean tech bootcamp, which will be open to companies from each of our 10 country partners. And that will be a program we run in June, particularly targeting the clean tech sector, of course, with COP26 and the importance of environmental initiatives in mind this year. And that, I hope, will be a way of drawing further companies into the UK.
Wonderful. So for our audience of entrepreneurs, clean tech, this is an opportunity for you. Gentlemen, a pleasure to moderate this session. Great speaking with you, and thank you for sharing your insights. And we turn it back to the Wolf Summit. It's a pleasure. Thank you to our audience as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Omar. Nice to meet you, David.